Welcome everyone, and thanks joining our webinar today. Never too late saying Happy New Year to all of you. Hopefully this year will make us more successful in every angle of life. Okay, so topic today is a tips and trick for Minitab Statistical Software, data preparation and visualization. I'm Nur Sulawati. I'm the technical support specialist at Bizit Systems. Okay, for those new with the Bizit System are independent local and representation for Singapore, Malaysia and Batam, Indonesia. Okay, so before we get started, I have some housekeeping item. Please, if you have question during presentation, please type them into the question box in your control panel. You may send any time throughout the presentation, but I will address them during Q&A session at the end of our webinar. Okay. Okay. Kindly ensure that you have connected to the audio via computer speaker, and then please fill out our survey before you exit the tab. This survey will help us to improve the quality of upcoming webinar. For your information, this webinar will be recorded and therefore it will be set listen only mode to avoid the interpretation to the audio recording. So this recording will be accessible anytime later on our website www.bizit.com or by subscribing to our YouTube channel Minitab Malaysia and Singapore. Okay, so if you have any question, let me know. Okay. So for those are new with us, Minitab was developed in 1972. So today, in 2022, Minitab already in 15 years in market. Okay, so Minitab actually not only have the Minitab statistical package, but we have others package like software predictive modular, we have engage, we have workspace and so on. Okay, we have a lot of product, but today our focus on the Minitab statistical software. Minitab statistical software is a software package for statistical analysis. It was powerful statistical software since everyone can use, whether you are statistician or non-statistician. We have a simple dialog box and easy to handle it. Okay. So this one in example, those are all features available in Minitab statistical software. For your information now, today we have a latest version, is Minitab version 21. Okay, so most of our customers coming from the quality website. So most our tools are popular on the quality side, something like measurement system analysis, your case study, your control chart, like X bar chart, variable chart, and so on. Okay, and then we have our flagship tools like capability seeds pack, and then we have acceptor sampling, we have a tolerance interval. So we need to say that Minitab is not covered for SPC part, but we also cover for SQC part. Okay, and then we have a reliability engineering. Okay, we have a distribution analysis, we have test plan, warranty analysis, and so on. But for the new updating, we add new one on this portion. Okay. And then we have something like, if let's say coming from the R&D, is a popular tools is a DOE, design of experiment, but our not limit on the full factorial design only. We have others factorial design like response surface, Taguchi, and so on. Okay, and then we have now I think more of us know about the analytics, big data, and so on. So we also have that kind of features to tackle this portion for the business analytics. So we have a correlation, we have a statistical model like regression. We also have something like decision tree, like cut, classification, and regression tree. We also have the time series, like ARIMA model and so on. Okay. And then for those are coming for like FDA, something like one. So we have a process validation, something like process design, process qualification, and then for the continue process validation. So far, this process is not one stop. You need have a find from the other stores. It's not sequence like this one. Okay, but these all the two are available in Minitab. Okay. So this one is example of our existing customer, but for information that the multinational company or big company, but we have SME company also use our software. Okay. And then it's not only from the manufacturing, we have various sector like academician services and so on. Okay, so our agenda today is, I think it's not so heavy. Okay, it's a little bit starting. If let's say you are new or you expert, just only want to review again. Okay, so we start with the preparation and importing the data set. Okay, and then I will show how to use the web apps in term accessibility, because nowadays Minitab offer for desktop app and the web app. So I will show after this how to use the web apps, and then we go for the visualization. Okay, starting with the Minitab 19, Minitab a lot of things they improve in terms of visualization. Okay. So when working with a new data set, we start with clean our data set. For example, we remove the duplicate variables or something, or incomplete data set. We mismatch and so on, the error on site, the variable itself, to make sure it's accurate and quality data to the right conclusion and decision. Okay, we shall then continue with the several different type of graphs. For example, you want to see on the distribution side, okay, want to see on the relationship, want to see on the time orders. Okay, before you go further for analysis like ANOVA, analysis of variance, maybe you can look on the variability chart first before you confirm your finding with the ANOVA, or you go for the run chart before you go for the control chart like statistical process control, something like one. Okay, you can go for the design of experiment, and you can go for the predictive analytics and so on. So hopefully with this applicable, the output result of our statistical analysis should be practical and validate for accuracy before being for prediction or to do the decision maker. Okay. Okay. So I will start with the simple thing. Okay, simple task here. Okay, I will start with the open the Minitab. Okay, but I will show for the desktop app first before I go for the web apps. Okay, so this one is once you open the Minitab Statistical Software, so you will see the interface for the all user like 16, a little bit short on this interface because it's a little bit difference with the old version. So for this case, for this interface, actually we have a navigator. Okay, we have this one is an output pane, or here is a worksheet. Okay, so all the menu bar here is something like stat, calculator, graph, and so on. Okay, and then we have we call it the toolbar here. Okay, so for this case, we want to open our data set. Okay, we want to open the data set. Okay, actually you have several types to import the data into our worksheet. Okay, so in the Minitab worksheet. So for example, you can copy and paste it, but it's applicable when your data set is simple data set only. You can copy from the Excel and so on, and then you can paste it to the worksheet. or you can open file, Excel or text file or Minitab file into the worksheet. Okay, and then now starting with the Minitab 20, they improve on you can open from repository. If let's say you save it, your data in the Google Drive or OneDrive. Okay, in the Minitab file, you can open from the Google and then you can open also from the OneDrive. Okay, and then if let's say you have database like ODBC, okay, you can create a link, okay, for the ODBC, and then you also can create a hot link to another application by using the DDE. But for this ODBC, you need have your IT hub for in-term connect to do the from your database into the Minitab worksheet. Okay, so let's we use a show on this part. Okay, so you can go for the file. Okay, you can see on the open. So open, we need to say that it's open from locally. If let's say you're open from repository, so you can open from your Google Drive or OneDrive. Okay, so if let's say you have want to connect with your ODBC, so you can connect with your ODBC, but you need to IT hub for this case. Okay, and then you can copy, you can type it on this one. Okay, so no worries, you can type on also in this worksheet. Okay, then the tag. Okay, so here I have one case study here. Okay, I have one problem. In a short run manufacturing environment, employee needs to customize the production equipment for each specific job. Okay, they create a production database in Excel. I think a lot of us use the Excel. I also use the Excel. Contain the person doing the setup, the job type, and the setup time, okay, and the runtime in order. So the variables inside this study is the job type, okay, the setup time, and then the runtime. Okay, so also they have something like notes. And then this one is, we consider that this one is our variables. Okay, so this production manager wants to try import from the Excel file to the Minitab. Okay, and then you want to find the most frequent job type. Okay, on this study, and they want to convert runtime variables into minutes, and then you want to save it to this worksheet before go further or before they pass it to others team or so on. Okay, so we try it with this case study. Okay, I will open Minitab. Okay, and then I will try open the Excel file. So I go to file, open. Okay, so for this case, I have a setup time database, that one. So I click open. Okay, so once you try import from the Excel into the Minitab worksheet, so you have something like first row in the import side. So for this case, your data is start with the 4. So here you put 4. Okay, so you can start where your data starting, maybe 100, so you just put 100. If let's say in your Excel file books have a sheet, okay, in one file we have sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, so you also applicable to choose which sheet you want to import into this worksheet. Okay, so for this case, we start with the import from the 4th row. Okay, so you can preview before you click OK. Okay, for this case, I try preview. Is it correct or not? Okay, yes, because there's now they starting with the run order, person, job, setup time, runtime, and notes for this case. And then you can scroll up, and then what you want to see, is it real or not real for this case. Okay, so for this case, for example, for the person, so you can see the bill, the person name, Susan, John, Steve, Karen, Susan, and Lisa. But in this, for the Steve here, S is a small. Okay, it's not the this is a lower capital. It's not the upper capital. So before you can import, it, Minitab we can handle it. Okay, so you close it, you try go for the option. Okay, so for the text column, actually Minitab can trigger. You can remove the unprintable character and extra spaces, and then you can correct the case mismatch. Okay, you click on this one, click OK, and then after that you can preview first before you click OK. For this case, you click this Steve. Okay, so now Steve is the upper letter. Before this, before you go for the option, is the lowercase. So you click OK. So now you already import from the Excel file into the worksheet file. Okay, so I will do go to File, Open. If you save it in the local D. Okay, so and then you can go where you save it, and then you click Open. Okay, so you click Open, and then you can customize all this one. Okay, so now this that you already import the data into the worksheet. Okay, the next you want to see on this one, how many data set you have, how many variables you have. Okay, so you want to review this new worksheet here. Okay, is it the same with as the Excel file? So go to the sheet, right click, you choose worksheet information. This one is starting point. Okay, before you go further. So in this worksheet, actually you have a column 1 up to column 6. So the T here is a refer the type of your data set. It's a T is a text. Okay, for this case, is column 2 is a T. So the name of this variable is the person. Okay, so for this case, you have a 30 text column. Okay, so for text column here. Okay, so for the text, job type, person, and then some notes for here. So I will go to sheet, right click, worksheet information. Okay. So if let's say before this, you're not sure, is it, you not use the option 1 during the import the data set. So you want to check it, is it, this one is for the text 1, is it okay or not? So you go for right click, okay, go this column person, you want to see on the mismatch. Okay, right click, you go for the column condition formatting. Okay, condition formatting, you choose highlight cell, you choose mesh from the list. Okay, you can choose it. Okay, you can choose on this part. So all this one is satisfied with this one. So if let's say no, so you can click and click OK. For this case, I just want to check it. Is it, this one is a lowercase or uppercase? So all this one is already done it. So you click OK. Okay. Sorry, click cancel because I not choose it. I just want to see on this. Is it correct or not for this all? Okay. And then for this case, I will try for the second variables here. So I want to job type. So I want to see simples or overview of these variables. So I want to see on the most frequent on this case. Okay, what is the most frequent job type for this experimental? So you go for this here, right click, okay, you choose conditional formatting also, but now you choose Pareto. Okay, you choose Pareto. So you choose most frequent value. Maybe you want to the highest one, but the default setting in this one is that 10. But for this case, I just want to put only one, the most one. Click OK. Okay, so will appear on this one. So we need to say that is a type, job type C is most frequent on this one. Okay, this one is not the go for the deep one, just only overview for each variables. Okay, so from here, maybe you want to interest on this most frequent. Okay, so go back to this column, right click back, and then you go for the subset worksheet. And then maybe you want to exclude or you want to include. If let's say you want interest on this most frequent only, so go to subset worksheet and then you click on include row with the formatted select. So they create the new worksheet, with the new criteria, which is the most highest type of the job. Okay, so maybe you can rename all for this one. Okay, most frequent, okay, job type. So I will go back to this one. First, you need go for the, maybe you choose your criteria. After you choose the criteria, and then you can go for the subset worksheet. Okay, so this functionality also available on this data set. Okay, but easy to see on this right click only. Okay. Okay, so you will go for the next next variables. Okay, so it's a next variable is a runtime. Okay, but in this runtime in hours, so you want to do some we want to same with this setup time in the minutes. So you want to do some calculation or do some formula on this worksheet. So for information, a lot of our customer always ask how to do the calculation in the Minitab. Actually, in the Minitab is also you can do formulation. Okay, you can insert the formula, but you're not able to insert in this cell. Okay, because in the Minitab we have a something like we call calculator. Okay, you go for the calculator. So in here you can put all the functioning of a formula on this calculator actually. So for this case, I want to try create a simple formula from the runtime in hours, convert to the minutes. So I go to the calculator, and I rename the column, the new column, maybe runtime also, but in minutes. Okay. So for this case, I want to run time in our hours. So I need to multiply by 60. Okay. So and then click OK. So now you create the new variables. Okay, in the minute from the hours, go to the minutes. So this one is applicable in the minute tab. So you already go through one by one. Okay, one by one variables here. So from the hours, you can convert to minutes. From the job type, you know now job type C is a most high frequent. Okay, and then for the person and then so on. So this one is we call it, this one is a clean data set. Okay, so maybe you can do outlier, something that one. Okay, but today I not cover on this thing. Okay, hopefully this one will benefit for you. Okay, so after you done it on this part, maybe you want to save it. Okay, so you can go for the file, you can save a project, or you can save as a worksheet only, because you not do any, or you not run any analysis. It's just like data manipulation only. So you're able to save it as a worksheet as. Okay, so you can save worksheet or as Excel, or you can go for the MWX. Okay, so this one is ability. Want to save a project, or you want to save a worksheet only. Okay. Okay, so for this case, we already done it for this one. Okay, so this one is a correct case mismatch. So you can do before you import into the Minitab. Okay, so review, you can go for calculator, you can save it this one. Okay, what is thing? Okay. Okay, so you see that now in the trigger part is update this result or create new result. Okay, so because now you create the new column, okay, new variables here. So that's why Minitab trigger this one. So they give it you information. So whether you want to update this result or you want to create the result. So this updating is applicable for editing purpose, like you edit some graphical, you add something in the worksheet. So you able to see this information. Okay, So maybe you want to update this result only. So you just update. So now you have a 7 column for this case. So if let's say you do something editing on this worksheet, so we will trigger on the output side, not in the worksheet side. Okay. Okay. So now I want to. I already save it. You imagine now I save the worksheet in the Google Drive. Okay, I want to, because I'm not able to open or bring our laptop for the desktop version and so on. I just only want to see our data set or something that one. So that's why. So now you can go everywhere you go as long as you have a internet connectivity. So you can access back this data set, okay, Minitab project file and so on, because you can access from nearly any device. So you can share your project with a single click only. Which of the this you can access your your storage, Google Drive or OneDrive, and then you can have a single sign on available. So I think now if let's say you purchase the Minitab license, they coming to version desktop and web app. Okay, so I will try show it how to access the web app. Okay, so you need go for the Minitab license portal. Okay, you need insert your email address. Okay. 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 Sure. Oh, sorry. Sorry. Spade. Okay. So once you open the Minitab license, sign into Minitab license portal, so you can see on this site a Minitab Statistical Software. So you can go for the Minitab Statistical Software. So on this case, because our company have a two option, so I just open on the Open Web App. Okay. So you open the web app. Okay, so if let's say you see on this web app is something is similar with the desktop app. Is similar with the desktop app. Okay, so you have a menu bar. Okay, you have a worksheet. You have the output pane. Okay, and then here you can zoom in. Okay, sorry, you can choose whether you want to go for the worksheet only or output only and so on. Okay, so I will try. So after file, you can open. For this case, I work as a self worksheet. So I go to worksheet. I try with the Google Drive. I think all of us have the Google Drive. So I just Google Drive and then click OK. So since I already connect, okay, with the from my Google Drive, so can directly see on this interface. If let's say you are the first time, they give you something you need to go one by one description. Okay, for this case, I choose on this and then I choose the salad. Okay. So now this data set available in the web app. Okay. So for this case, if let's say you're using the web app, they will have something like auto save. You can save it into the Google Drive and then you can rename it. Okay, something that one. Click OK. Okay, you can save on this file. Okay, maybe this one. Select. Okay. And then this data set will save in this one. So after you save it, where you want to save, they will give it you the Google Drive. Or if let's say in OneDrive, they appear in here is a OneDrive. Okay, and then for this case, you just can only file, you can download a copy if let's say you want to save on the local D. Okay, so for this case, Google Drive, and then I think if let's say you want to see what the functionality or differences between desktop and web app, you can email me. I will give the that document on this one. But I think for me, I think the best thing for the web app is something you have a search. Okay, no need go for the graph, find out one by one. You can search in this one, histogram, for example. So you enter. Okay, you have this one. You just choose on this one. It's more less step to run it because if let's say you go for the desktop version, you need go for the file step, and then you need to choose find out where is the our histogram. But for this case, you can go histogram or box plot, something that's one you can type it. Okay, box plot, sorry. Okay, you can type the box plot 1Y, so you can go. They will open the dialog box directly. Okay, and then after that, the this thing maybe I will try with the simple one. Okay, descriptive statistic. I want to on the run time or setup time, just a setup time. Okay, and then for statistic or graph and histogram, click OK. So now you create the worksheet. So it's the same. Okay, you have something like this one. Okay, you can copy and you can send to the report, or you can do something like copy and help in here. Okay, and then I think the interesting part is you can share to your teams. Okay, you can share directly to your teams. For example, I will show this share. Okay, so this feature is not available on the desktop app. This one is available on this one. So that's why we say that this portion is to accessibility part. Okay, so where you go, you can do the analysis as long as you save your data set in the OneDrive or Google Drive. Okay, so we go for the third part is visualization. Okay, so visualization is something like important if you are using the data to drive the decision. So the visualization actually is for the preliminary analysis, or you can use as a presentation tools into the final report. So basically in Minitab, we try group the type of graph into this objective. First is a descriptive of data set, or you want to looking on the variables over the time, or you want to looking the relationship. Okay, this one is we try with your objective. So this one is actually applicable in your Minitab. In the assistant, I will show. Okay, sorry. I will show in the Minitab side. Okay, so you go for the assistant. So you go for the graphic analysis. I think this one is will help you because we are a lot of type of graph. Okay, so this one is something like if let's say looking on the distribution, so what type of the graph is applicable? So for example, is histogram. Okay, and then if for this one, maybe you can go for the time series plot, or you go for the SPC control chart. And then for this relationship, also have a scatter plot and some that one. This one, the first thing you can see on the graphical before you go further. And then the second part, starting with the Minitab 20, they add some, we call it graph builder. This one also is something good for beginner is something good also for the expert one. Okay, so I'll try with the graph builder here. Okay, so almost of the graph in the graph menu is available in this graph gallery. Okay, so it's complex one is not something like histogram, probability plot, box plot. This one is applicable in the graph builder. Okay, so for example, we on this, try with this one graph. I open the graph builder. Okay, for this case, I want to job type. This one, you can drag on this canvas. Okay, and drag for this case setup time. Okay, so in this case, they give it you something like all the graph or based on your objectives. Just now I show it. Okay, just now I show it. For example, you won't go for the distribution. So only distribution graph available. So for this case, I want to see on the relationship. So on this type of graph are for the relationship. For this case, is over the time. So for this case, and this one. Okay, for example, I want to see on the over the time. So you can set up all this one. Okay, and then if let's say you're not the one with this set with this time series, so you able to choose others plotting. Okay, maybe you want to choose the histogram. Okay, so they give it you this one. So maybe the one, so you can see on the person by person. Okay, you can show one by one. Okay, before you create it. So this one is the will help you on the graph builder. Okay, before you go for the analysis part. Okay, you can see on this case by person. Maybe you don't want by person, you just draw on the by job type. Okay, so you can see on the job type A is a lot. It's not the we call it not the normal distribute. Okay, for job B also no. Okay, so you can compare it that kind of this one. So satisfied with this one, you can create. Okay, so this one is I think is a helpful before you go further for the visualization. The first thing, go for the assistant. You go for the graphical analysis. So they give it you or class this type of a graph with this objective. Okay, seems go for the graph builder. Okay. The computer already done. Okay, so let's try with the histogram. Okay, so basically histogram to examine and then compare the distribution. So I have one case study here. So a quality engineer wants to know the distribution of the insulation strength. Okay, so I open the data set. Okay, I open directly the data set. This is so this one. Okay, so the quality engineer want to study on the distribution. So he or she maybe create the histogram. So go to graph, go to choose histogram. So you choose simple or with fit. So for those are beginner, we go choose a simple one. Click OK, and then you see. Okay, so you choose the strength. Okay, you choose the strength, and then you click OK. So now you get your histogram. So we go to graph, you choose the histogram, you choose simple and click OK. You choose what variables for the interest is our strength. You click OK. So now you get your histogram. Okay, so in Minitab, actually you can customize all this one. Okay, so basically you want to change it, this color for the bar, so you can go customize. And then maybe you can choose your own. Okay, click OK, then click OK. Or you want to edit or add something, right click, you can right click on the graph, add, and then you maybe want to see on the distribution fit. Okay, so for this case, for the more only, click OK, and then click OK. So they give you the fit line here. Okay, so whether you want to proceed with the directly with the fit line, so go graph histogram with fit, or you just want to see on the simple one, and then after that you want to further, you can add the fit line on this histogram. Okay, so based on this one, the peak insolation strength between 30. Okay, the spread of the strength is between 20 up to 38. 8. Okay, so we consider that this one is a looks normal distribute. So for this case, maybe you can check on the normality test and so on. So from this also, for the histogram also, maybe you can go further, like you want to do capability analysis study, and maybe for this one you have material, you want to assess between, have a differences between formula 1 and formula 2. So you can further with the pair t-test or t-test and so on. So for the hypothesis testing. Okay, so this one is how the we use the visualization. Okay, the next one, we go for the scatter plot. Okay, so actually scatter plot to assume the relationship between two variables. Okay, between two variables. For this case, we want to, the engineer want to evaluate the relationship between setup time and the run time. Okay, so I go to this data study. Okay, the new data set. Actually, this engineer want to study or want to see correlation between the runtime and the setup time. Okay, so go to graph, go to scatter plot. Okay, go for the simple, click OK. So for this case, okay, for the our Y is a run time, our X variable is the setup time. Okay, and then you click OK. So now you get the histogram. Okay, how we do? Go to graph, go to the scatter plot. So you choose, maybe you choose just simple one, because after this you can add, if let's say you want to regression fit and so on. So go for the simple one, click OK. Sorry, click OK, and then you click OK. So you insert this dialog box with the Y variable runtime, this one X time. So you can get the scatter plot. So from this scatter plot, actually it looks like have a positive correlate between the setup time and the runtime. So we need to say that is, let's say setup time increase, runtime also increase. Okay, but you have something like trigger something here. Okay, so maybe consider this one is outliers. So from the scatter plot, actually we have features like we call it brushing. Okay, you can brush on this one, on this point. Okay, so what is the point? The run time is more than this one. Okay, and then maybe you want to all this. Okay, okay, create the all this one. So if let's say you see on this worksheet, you can have a dot, black dot here. So meaning to say that this row include on this brushing features. Okay, so if I want to study on this one, you want to look on the person one. Okay, maybe person. Click OK. So they give it you the person, the variability of the person, not the only one person for this case. Okay, maybe you want to add on the job type. Okay, so click OK. So the job type also not the only from the same job type. Is coming from the variety of the job type. For this case, the outlier maybe is not in fact from a different job type or different person. So maybe the others variables are impact onto these outliers. Okay, so in this scatter plot, you can get more on those one. So maybe you want to further one, double click, add. You want to add the regression fit. Sorry, add the regression fit. Okay, regression line. You want to consider the linear line. Click OK, and then click OK, click OK. So now maybe after you do the correlation, you have a correlate between setup time and run time. So you want to do the regression line. You want to form the regression line. So you no need to run back, just only focus on this one. Okay, you can add the regression line. Okay, last step on this case to get more further on this scatter plot. Okay. After that, we go for the parallelogram. Okay, this one is the new updating starting with Minitab 20. Okay, if let's say you purchase on the or you have the Minitab 20, you are available to see the parallelogram. Okay, it's something like you want to know relationship with the more than two variables. So I think for this case, for parallelogram is something like applicable if let's say you have a big data set or a lot of variables, so easy to see on this variable. So for this case, I will try show to the scale. Sorry. Okay, the brightness here. Okay, I have one case study here. This one is the measurement of the brightness of the paper. Okay, production rate, discharge, caustic, magnesium, and so on. These all variable. You want to study on the relationship to the brightness. Okay, so if let's say you go for the our scatter plot, you need to include one by one. Okay, so but now we added in new visualization, we call that one is the parallelogram. Okay, go to graph, you choose parallelogram. Okay, for this case, we want to access all this one. Okay, click OK, select all this one. So you want to display the correlation values. Okay, click OK. Okay, so now you get the parallelogram. I will do go to graph, go to the parallelogram. Okay, you choose your variable and then you click OK. So now you get the correlation. Seems like this one. Okay, but this one only one variables. Now they convert this thing into the p-value. Okay, more easy to see on this one. Okay. If let's say you have a lot of variables, okay, for the big data. Okay, so for this case, you see the brightness and production rate is a highest relationship between production and the brightness. Actually, this one is not only look on the response versus the predictor. Maybe you can see or access the correlate between the between the predictor. For example, is the production rate with the conductivity, something that one, H2O or something that one. It's not only the predictor versus the response. Maybe between the predictor also. So that one is we call it correlated. So this one is something like multi-collinearity. It's a further for the regression side. Okay, so this one is helpful for to the modeling like predictive analytics and so on. Okay, so let's go for the others. Example, heat map. Okay, so this one is heat map is something like to examine the relationship between one or more categorical variables. Just now, more on the continuous variables. So for this one is heat map if let's say you have more categorical variables here. So it's more suitable for to run the heat map. Okay, so I will show on this case. I have case study here. Okay, for the infection. Okay, so they want to look on the sum of the infection based on the monthly origin and the age. So how to get the heat map? So you go for the graph, you go for the heat map. So if let's say you see that the heat map is something like the same with the bar chart, the purpose of heat map, bar chart and the pie chart, because heat map in this group. Okay, heat map. So for this case, it's function, infection. Okay, you choose the function here is sum. Okay, the variables is region and age, and then is a month. Okay, and then you click OK. So now you get the heat map. Okay, you get the heat map. I will do go to graph, go to heat map. Okay, you include the function of the variability, your infection. Here is a function on the heat map itself. We choose the sum for the region, age, and then the month. Then you click OK. So you get the heat map. So from this heat map, you can directly see on this color coding. So the highest red here is highest number of infection. Okay, the dark blue here is less number of the higher infection. So for this case, is the highest infection is coming from the April. It's coming from the region northeast, and then the age with the age is 50 and the older one. So if let's say you have a lot of variables, easy to see directly where you're focused on. Okay, so we this one is the heat map. Okay, so you can see on the relationship also, but in the categorical, something like months, you have January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and so on. So this one is the new one. But for information, for us, we call it, this one is eye chart. So if let's say I chart something like a parallelogram, bind scatter plot, you have a heat map, okay, and then this. Okay, and then parallel coordinate plot. This one is, we call it eye chart. So if for this type of the chart, okay, graph, you not editing purpose is not like something like you can double click as just now I show on the histogram. But for the eye chart like heat map, parallelogram, you need go for this one. Okay, so this function, okay, you can see, sorry, this icon. So for something like maybe I want the one on the sum, maybe the mean, okay, so they can give it you something that one. So I not the device, maybe low to high. Okay, so they can customize or editing on this one. Okay, so we have a two type graph for a version that's one. Just double click if let's say you want to edit thing. If let's say for the eye chart, okay, you can go for this icon. Okay, and then you can choose back to this one. Okay, divergence. Okay, so for this case, and then we go for the next one is the variability chart. Okay, so this one is a special one. If let's say coming from the quality side, I think before you go for the hypothesis testing, they always using the variability chart. So this one is to identify the sources of variability. Okay, this problem is engineer wants to assess the effect of century time on the compressive strength of the 3 different metals. Okay, we have the 3 different metals, the metal A, 1, 2, and 3, and then the century time also difference level is 100, they have 150, and then they will have 200. So they want to combine all these two factors with the multi-level. Okay, so they try with the variability chart. Okay, so actually variability chart in not the graph, in not the graph menu. Okay, variability chart not in the graph menu. Okay. Okay. So now we have focus on this one. This one is a strength, and then they have a center time, and then want to see on the meta type. So they want to see on this because on the meta type they have a difference, meta 1, meta 2, meta 3, and then for the center time also have different 100, 150, 200. So easy to see variability of this case for the strength. So you can go for the variability chart. So where the variability chart, you go for the stat. This one is special one. Go to for stat. Go for the quality tools. Under quality tools, you can see the variability chart. Okay. For information now, Minitab upgrade. If let's say you want to look on the standard deviation on also, not the only the mean. Okay, beside the mean, you can able to see on the standard deviation chart. So for this case, our response is a strength. The factor is a center time, and then our method time. Okay, you choose on this one, and then you click OK. So now you get the variability chart. I will do, go to stat, okay, go to quality tools, go to the variability chart. Okay, so you choose your response, you choose your factor, and then you click OK. So now you get the variability chart. So from this variability chart, you can see that the highest mean is coming from the method 2, and then coming from the center time. So between all these meter with the center time 100 also have the differences. It's not have a same thing. You can see that the highest one, the middle one is in decrease on this sign. Okay, these are little bit differences comparing, okay, from the meter 1, meter 2, meter 3. Okay, so also this one is the lowest one. Okay, coming from the meter type 1 with the center time 200. So it's something like give it you some overview. Okay, this one is need to go further one. Okay, maybe you can follow up by ANOVA because this one is a more than 2 group. Okay, or you can follow up or you can go more on the design of experiment and so on for this case. Okay, so this one is the how variability will help you to go to another step, which is the advanced statistical analysis. Okay. Okay, so in summary, data manipulation, clean data, like you mismatch, you create new variables from your own data set, provide you deeper understanding of your data, so resulting in additional insight. So that's why we call it data give you information and so on. So for the latter version of the Minitab is now on the cloud. Okay, so you're able to access the Minitab with the web app version and then visualize data to gain insight, identify improvement. So if let's say you have a question, let me know. Please type into the Q&A session. If let's say I don't have any time to cover up, so I will email to you. Okay. So you can type on this. Okay, I have one question here. Okay, from the 019. For the case, I will email you. Okay, for the, is there a maximum number of variable for a parallelogram? Wait, I'm not sure for this case, but we try. I think, okay, we try, open back the parallelogram. Okay, go to start, go further, parallelogram. Okay, the maximum number. I think I'm not sure the exactly number, but it's a more than 10, I think, for this case. Okay, because the dialog box here is a bigger. If let's say you see only one, a single one, okay, only this dialog box, only one, so just only one variables at the same time. If let's say you will see on the more here, okay, the more here, the bigger one, the bigger box here, so you can up to more than one, okay, for this case. But sorry, I not have exactly number for this case. Okay, how many variables you can save this one, but more than one, more than 10, I can say that. Okay. Is there any differences in the function available between desktop and web app? Okay, desktop and web app actually for me, in term analysis part is something like similar. Okay, but have a little bit different in term dialog box maybe. Okay, the output stay is the same. Okay, in term dialog box is not all the different, but have a little bit differences. Okay, but if let's say you already master on the desktop app, okay, so no issue on the web apps. Okay, but the enhance of this one, you can share it, you can search. This one is not applicable on the desktop app. So also something like you want to something like view. Okay, for this case, for the web app, you have a reading view. Okay, you can read first. Okay, reading view. But this features is not available on the desktop app. Okay. Okay. So if let's say you have a time, okay, so okay, we not have a time. Okay, sorry. Okay. Ready. Done it. Okay. So thank you for your time and your attention. So if let's say you want to learn more about this topic or this product, so we suggest to you join our training part, because this one is only 1 hour. I cannot give you all the features available in Minitab. Okay, so but if let's say you're interested on this product, Minitab statistical product or others product by Minitab, you can visit our website www.bizit.com or www.minitab.com, and then you can follow to get some tips or trick or incoming event. So you can follow our media social like Minitab, Malaysia and Singapore through Facebook and link. And then if let's say you want to access back our previous webinar, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Minitab Malaysia and Singapore. So really appreciate if you fill up our survey in order to enhance our webinar session. So see you next time with the different topic and stay safe.